Yo, what up? I'm going to show you step by step exactly how to build the ultimate YouTube Parasite system that not only scrapes your competitors' content, but also ranks their content to show you which of their videos are performing the best so you know exactly what content you should be making more of. This entire automation system is built inside of n8n so you can stop paying for fancy tools like VidIQ and TubeBuddy. Let me show you how it works, and then we're going to go through and build this piece by piece. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to quick test this workflow, and we're going to get the videos from all of our competitors. And we're just going to scrape this data and we're going to store it inside of our database. So if we come over to our database, you can see we have the user names, we have their total number of subscribers, we have the title of their videos, the description from the videos, we even have the thumbnails along with all of the engagement metrics like views, likes, comments, the posted dates, and of course, this is coming from YouTube. And if we want, all we have to do is click a button and we can go straight to the video. We can open any one of these up to get a closer look at all the details like the description. And pop this open to see the thumbnail. If you want to get access to this automation and a bunch of others, I have a school community for business owners and content creators, and all you have to do is come into the classroom, find the YouTube Parasite System, download the resource, and then come into n8n, go ahead, click the three dots, click import from file, navigate to where that file is on your computer, and just go ahead and click open, and this whole thing is going to pop right in for you to use in just a couple seconds. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to just use this really simple 3-node workflow to basically score and rank all of our content. So it's just going to grab all of the items inside the Airtable database, not just ones from like a single user, but literally from all of them. And you can see here, basically calculating a score, an outlier score, comment to view ratio, and view to subscriber ratio. And I'm going to break down exactly what all of those are and why they're so important to this ranking factor. And so we can see here that Nick's video up here has ranked number 1, how to make $10,000 a month as a student with AI, the no BS guide. No shocker that this video performed really well. You can see the post body of this. We can get the thumbnail again, then we can see the total views, likes, comments, and then the score, right? Here's the total score, the outlier score, the comment to view ratio, and the view to subscriber ratio. And again, let me break down exactly what those are and why those are important. These ones over here are fairly self-explanatory, right? The comment to view ratio. So basically the idea is that how many comments you're getting compared to the total number of video views. The idea is that if you have a video with 10,000 views and you got 50 comments, you're doing pretty well. But if you have a video that only has 100 views and 50 people commented on it, you know that you've really struck a chord, and there's a lot of people who are actually interested, and not just interested, but actually engaged with that topic. So that's a really, really important factor. The other factor here is view to subscriber ratio, right? I was looking at some of these and I was thinking, well, some of these people have a ton of subscribers, so it's really hard to compare people to each other, right? If somebody has 100,000 subscribers and they have 10,000 views on their video, that's pretty good. But if somebody only has 1,000 subscribers and they have 10,000 views on the video, then that's incredible, right? So understanding that is super important. The other thing I want to factor in is what we're calling an outlier score. And this is basically how the video has performed compared to the average. This is in terms of views, right? So if your average video gets 1,000 views, right? But this particular video had got 3,000 views, well, then you are 3 times the average, right? So your outlier score here is going to be 3. And so we're trying to figure out which videos are actually overperforming compared to what is typical for any given channel. So we're using all of these factors to calculate a total score along with the views, likes, and comments, and then we're going to rank them in order of those things. And I'm going to show you exactly how I use ChatGPT to help me come up with this formula. If you want to look, we can look inside this code node, and this is basically the formula that we use to calculate all of this. I have no idea how to code. That's why LLMs like ChatGPT are so extremely helpful. So let's go ahead and let's get started building this totally from scratch. So if you notice here, the first thing that I have in this flow is actually this search records module. And so what this is doing is this is basically looking inside of my database already to look for channel IDs that are assigned to YouTube. I've actually built out systems for all of the platforms. And right now we're just looking for ones that are YouTube, and it's grabbing the channel ID. So the first thing we need to do is we actually need to set up this table inside of Airtable. So inside of Airtable, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to click create, and we're going to click create from scratch. And we're just going to name this YouTube Parasite, and we'll go ahead and make it, that's kind of pinkish red color because that's YouTube. Go ahead and click OK. And so we can come back here, and basically the only thing we need here is the channel ID, the channel author, and the platform, which we actually don't even need in this case. And actually the only thing we really need is the channel ID, but I think it's probably helpful to have both. So why don't we just call this channel IDs? Go ahead and click save. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edit this field, and I'm just going to make this channel ID, and I'm going to make this long text because I think that's helpful. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to change this to channel name. We can call it handle or whatever you want. And in this case, I don't need anything else in here, right? So let me show you exactly how you can really easily grab the channel ID. So I basically just pulled up 3 creators, probably familiar with them: Alex Hormozi, Matt Wolf, and of course our man, Mr. Beast. So we have Alex Hormozi here, and basically we need to get his channel ID. So we have his handle, okay, at Alex Hormozi. Great. Let's go ahead and we'll paste this in here. In order to get his handle, all you have to do is come into more, go down to share channel, and you can click copy channel ID. Super easy. We can come in and we can paste Alex Hormozi's channel ID right in there. We can go ahead and we can do the same for Matt Wolf, Mr. eFlow. We can go ahead and copy this, paste this in here, come into more, scroll down to the bottom, go to share channel, copy channel ID, paste this in. You can do the same for Mr. Beast. And so what's really cool about a system like this is that basically no matter how many people you add in here, if you find more competitors over time, you can just add them to this list, and basically the system will continue to run for every single person that you add to this list. So you don't have to keep coming back into n8n and updating all of the channel IDs and things like that. You're basically just adding things to this list, and n8n will do the rest of the work for you. So the first thing we need to do is we're just going to add a manual trigger, because that's how we're triggering these things. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click plus. I'm going to go ahead and search Airtable. And what I want to do is I want to search records. I'm going to choose from the list. And we call this YouTube something. So what if I just search for YT? And we have the YouTube Parasite. And I'm not going to show you how to create an Airtable connection, but there are plenty of videos and documentation out there that will teach you how to do this. And I'm going to do channel IDs. And I don't need to filter anything. And I'm just going to click return all. And if we go ahead and we click test step, you can see we basically have these 3 items, right? We have the channels and we have the channel ID, as well as the record ID, which is going to become important. Cool. So we can just go ahead and we can call this YouTube Parasite Demo. And the next thing we need to do is we just want to get all of the information from the channel. So I'm going to come back in here and I'm just going to go ahead and click this. And what's really great is YouTube is actually really nice about sharing their API and sharing their data. So a lot of the social media platforms require you to use third-party services, but YouTube is it's just like really nice about it. And all you have to do here is pipe in the channel ID and drag this over. And now if I click test step, basically what it's going to do, it's going to go ahead and search through this for basically all 3 channels, right? And so now we have the title, we have the channel description, right? We have the thumbnails for the channel, we have total view counts, we have the total subscriber counts, we have how many videos they've made, and all this other stuff that we actually, don't necessarily need, but it's all here if you want it. If you want to click schema, you maybe can have a little bit of a nicer view of everything. But maybe some of this is really handy, right? Like I think we have like keywords down here, like this could be really handy, right? And I think probably somewhere down here are tags. Great. So now we've gotten the channel, because basically we just want to pull in that subscriber count. So what we want to do now is we want to loop over these items. And so the reason that we're doing this is so that we can go through each channel one at a time, right? We're not going to be able to scrape all of them all at once. We're just going to go through one at a time. So we can come in here and click loop. You can either click the plus, you can click the plus here, you can hit tab. Doesn't matter how you get there. You want to hit loop over items, backsize 1. That's great. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this, and we can just connect these up here. Cool. The next thing that we have here is we have this get all videos. And so we're just going to return videos from all of these channels. So we go back to the YouTube API. And if we come down here, we want video actions and we want get many videos. And the limit is you can set this limit as high as you want. I was just setting it to 5 because I thought that was helpful just to get 5 here. And if we want to go ahead and we can just execute this previous node really quick, just to get a little bit of data in here. And basically the only thing that we need here is we want to add an option and we want to go into channel ID. And now we can actually just pipe in the ID from the loop over items here. And so basically what this is going to do is now it's going to go through one at a time, every single one of the channel IDs. And so we can go ahead and we can test this step. And if we come into the JSON view, you can see we basically have 5 videos from this first channel here, which is Matt Wolf's channel. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't actually give us any of the engagement metrics, right? It gives us basically, the title of the video, it gives us the description, it gives us the thumbnails, which is great, but it doesn't actually give us the engagement metrics, which is definitely something that we're going to need. So what we have to do from there is we actually have to get a single video. So if we come in here and we type in YouTube again, we can go down to videos. And now what we want to do is we want to get a video. So now we're just going to pipe in the video ID here. We're going to pipe this in here, and basically it's going to take 5 videos, and we can go ahead, we can scrape all 5 of these videos. And so now This is cool. We actually get all of the tags for the video. So again, this might be something worth storing in your database. I haven't done this, but this might be a good thing to store if you're making similar content. And if we come down here, we have the content duration, which is great. And if we come all the way down, we have all these statistics like the view count, the like count, the favorite count, and the comment count. Super, super helpful. We're going to want to pull in all of this information. So now that we have this, basically we're ready to start creating our Airtable database. And the only other thing we have here is this filter. And what this filter is doing is I'm going to set this up. I'm just going to copy this expression because I think it'll be helpful. So I'm going to come in here. I'll add a plus. I'm just going to go ahead and paste that in. And we will say number is greater than 5. And so the reason that we're doing this is we are basically looking for the duration of the video. So we're actually removing YouTube Shorts from this equation because we're only looking at the long form content, right? So what this is doing is if I come down in here, we can go into we can go into content details, and this is duration, right? So you can see here, this has this weird duration format, PT1M. I don't know. I think probably playing time is PT. 1M stands for 1 minute, or you might get 30S, right? 30 seconds. So basically we know that if this has PT1M and then like another number after this, the total length of these number of characters, I know it's a little confusing, but is going to be greater than 5, which means it's likely not going to be a YouTube short, right? Because shorts are typically around 60 seconds or 1 minute. So basically we're just filtering out anything that isn't a short. Go ahead and click save. So the next thing we want to do is we need to just continue adding our database, right? And so if we come down here, we have the scraped content, and we want to start pulling these things in: the username, the subscribers, the title, body, attachments, the views, the likes, and this is even the URL. I'll show you how to set up this button. So we can come in here and we can go ahead and click add, and we can start from scratch, and we can just call this scraped content. So let's go ahead and let's start building this out. YouTube, username, post title, post body. Great. So we'll just go ahead and we'll change this to username. We'll call this post title. And we can go ahead and we can just duplicate this. We can call this post body, or if we wanted, we could call this description, because that's really what it is, right? Next, we have attachments. We don't need assignee. We don't need status. I'll keep attachments, and we can just call this thumbnail. I'm going to go ahead and click a plus to add a field, and I'm going to add a URL field down here. And I'm just going to call this URL. Great. And then we need views, likes, comments, and the posted date. And we need the number field for this. So we go to number, and we can type in views. We can just duplicate this. And we'll call this likes. And I'll duplicate this one more time. Views, likes, comments. Great. And I'll just add a plus, and I will click, what did I have here? Long text. Great. You can see long text. Let's go ahead and add the long text. Call this date posted. So one thing we could do if we wanted, that I kind of like doing, is like engagement velocity or video velocity, right? Which is kind of like, how well is this video performing relative to the date it was posted? So if this video has 10,000 views and it was posted 2 weeks ago, all right, pretty good. But if it has 10,000 views and it was posted yesterday, all right, this video is killing it. It's trending right now at this moment, and we should probably rank this higher depending on, how frequently we're checking this table. Ideally, we're probably checking this fairly frequently. So we basically have everything that we need here, which is great. So we can come back to our new system here. We can just go ahead and we can do Airtable, come in here, and we can go to create a record. And what we want to do is we want to create a record from the list, and I'm just going to type in Parasite, YT Parasite, go ahead from the list, and now we want the scraped content. And I'm just going to go ahead and run the filter. Interesting. So I was curious, like basically we didn't keep any of this information, and I found out, I was just looking at Matt's channel, I was curious. He posted the last full-length video he posted was 5 days ago, but he posted shorts like all through this time. This short is from 7 hours ago. So literally anything that's coming through is basically YouTube shorts. So I'm actually just going to delete him from this channel because we don't need it. And so I'm going to go back and I'm going to go ahead and click this, and let's scrape someone new. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to test this workflow. So now I'm going to scrape someone new. Okay, so I realized that all of these examples were actually bad examples because literally every single one of them hasn't posted a long form video in like a week, but they posted a bunch of shorts. I could either increase the number of videos that I scrape, or I can just find new people. And I think this is easier. I'll just find my actual competitors. I'll go to share channel. I'll go to copy ID. This is me. Great. I'll paste this in here. Great. We can grab Nick because Nick's super cool. We like him. Go ahead, grab this, paste this in here. And we basically want to get his channel ID, share channel, copy channel ID. Always a little bit of troubleshooting, no big deal. And we'll grab Ken because Ken's super cool too. Share channel, copy ID. Paste these in here. And I'm just going to grab his handle so we have it. Okay. And paste this in here. Great. So now hopefully when we run this, we'll get something that's a little bit more recent and also not a YouTube short. So one thing that's actually helpful that I realized is that what we want to do is we want to do order, and we want to order this by date. So now what this is going to do, that's something I left out, is that it's actually going to pull the most recent content, right? So now it's not just pulling from everywhere. I actually think it maybe searched it by relevance. I don't know how it determined what's relevant because we didn't give it any like search criteria. But now, again, in this get all videos, order this by date, and now it's going to pull in content here. So we can see basically what we have here now is we actually have 3 boring automations. You can sell to coaches for 1.5K. This is great. So now what we can do is we can actually start pulling in this information the proper way. Cool. So we can close up this thumbnails here, and now we're just going to kind of drag and drop everything over. So we're just going to drag the channel, the username over, and we're going to drag the title over. We're going to grab the description. We'll drag that over. I'm going to skip the thumbnail for a second. I'm going to pull in the views, the likes, and the comments. And then I had a little formula to pull out the URL from this embed URL. So I'm just going to go ahead and let me grab this down here. I literally asked ChatGPT how to do this. I'm going to show you how I do this. So basically what I had is if you pull this in, you basically get this whole embed URL. And what I wanted to do is I literally just wanted to pull out, obviously, www.youtube.com, et cetera, right? I just wanted to grab that. And so what I did is I went over to ChatGPT and I said, I have this n8n expression. It outputs this. I went and I just copied and pasted this. I can say, I want to extract just the URL starting with www. And so now it's going to go ahead and it's going to give me this long expression. It's matching this, it's embedding this. I don't even know what all this means. It extracts only the URL beginning with www. So let's go ahead and copy this. And if I come back in here, should just be able to paste this in. And now you can see we have www.youtube.com/embed. And if I just copy and paste this straight into the browser, now I can open this up and we can get access to the video right here. So this is great. This is going to be super helpful. And I just want to be able to store that inside of our database. I actually don't want this obviously in the date posted. I want this in the URL. Change this to expression. Super cool. And there's one more little expression that we need to grab the thumbnail. And I literally always forget how to do this. So I pretty much always copy and paste it. Come into the attachments and I'm going to show you what this is. We come into thumbnail and paste this and we open this up here. And basically Airtable needs everything in this like array format. And you can see here, it just has these brackets. This is the only way you can actually like physically attach the image to Airtable. So you can actually upload it into Airtable. That way it's clickable. It's not just a link, right? And so basically what I did here was I just grabbed the JSON snippet thumbnails max res. So if you come into snippet thumbnails and I just grabbed the highest res one down here, this URL, and then we created this kind of like array, right? With the URL as the key and then the value being what I just said coming out of there. So now we basically have everything that we need except for the date posted, which we're going to come up here. And I think it was somewhere up at the top. Publish that. We can just pipe this in here. And we have all our fields full right now. And so I can just go ahead and I can click save. And now what we do is we just connect the end back to this loop over items field. Because remember what it's going to do is it's actually going to go through each one of the channels that we're scraping. And we can have a list of 30 of these, right? And it's going to grab all of the videos, or in this case, it's going to grab 5 videos per channel. So I'm just going to go ahead and click test workflow. We're going to run this through and you can see we're scraping. We're uploading the first 5 videos. We're getting the next 5 videos. And if we come in here into our scraped content, you can see we're starting to populate the videos. I'm just going to delete these extra fields from Nick, from myself, and from Ken, right? So basically we've come in here. We grabbed all of the videos. We come into this one. You can have how I make 4K with LinkedIn automation. Here's the description. Here's the thumbnail that we have access to. come into the URL, we can go ahead and we can click this and get access to the video, and that's great. We have the views, the likes, and the comments, right? This is actually a live stream I did. Kind of interesting and cool that I pulled it in. The last cool thing that we can do, this is just a little trick that I like because I just think it's neat. We can just go in here, we can do insert right, and if we just scroll down to the bottom, we can go to button, and we can just call this like video link. This is a button, and I'll label this. We can just say like go to video, and I always like this blue and white. And if we come down here and we just type curly brackets, we can basically just grab the URL and go to create field. And now what this is going to do is this is actually just going to give us a one-click little button to actually take us to the video for any of these, right? So this is pretty cool. I just think this is nice, a little nicer than looking at this link. And if we want, we can just go ahead and we can now hide the URL. The n8n workflow in automation is still going to put it in there. It's still going to create this link. We just don't need to see it anymore. And that's really it for this first part of the system. And if you don't want to create the ranking system, you don't have to. You could come in here and you could just sort this by views. And now we have go from 9 to 1. And basically you can see which videos has the most views. This makes sense that we're in this order. It's basically, has to do with the number of subscribers and things like that. Kind of interesting to see. And I actually think a lot of these are live streams. So interesting to see how live streams perform compared to regular videos. Good to know for me, right? Cool. So the next thing we want to do is we can just create this other second little automation to actually rank the content, right? So what we're doing is we're just pulling in all of the records from Airtable. We're calculating the rank, and then we're just updating that record. Super, super easy. So I'm just going to detach this here, and I'm going to go ahead and click the plus, and I'm going to type in Airtable. I'm going to go to search records. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to grab our little parasite field here. YouTube Parasite, choose from the list. Go ahead and take scraped content, and I'm not going to filter this. I'm just going to return everything. So if we see, now we can check this, and we have 14 items, right? So this is pulling in everything from the base. Great. And all we need is this code. Okay, so how do we get this code, right? Again, I just asked ChatGPT for this. So we can say, I have a group of YouTube videos. I need to process them in n8n with a code node in order to rank them. The metrics I have are views, comments, and likes. I'd also like to create an outlier score, which is the views, the total views of the video compared to the average views. And I'd like to create a ratio of comments to views. One last thing to factor in is video velocity, which is the number of views relative to the date posted. So let's just go ahead and click enter and see what it sees. So basically this is extracting and preparing all the input, right? Views, comments, likes. I don't code again, but kind of understanding how to look through this and just kind of recognize what's happening. It's kind of nice because ChatGPT will actually give you the steps. It's going to compute the average views, compute the metrics and scores. And this is cool that it's actually weighting these differently, right? So it's actually weighting comments at 1.5 the value of likes. Views is actually weighting it less at 0.5. And if you want to change these, just tell it to change them, right? It's ranking the comment to view ratio really high. And then it's prioritizing fast moving content. So then it's creating the score, right? So I think this is really interesting. And so the output, I think there's a couple outputs that I like. So we're getting the total views, comments, likes, posted date, comment to view ratio, the view velocity. And I'm not sure actually what the output is going to be of this, to be honest with you. So let's just go ahead and we can hit the plus here. And I can type in code. And I'm just going to paste this in and let's see what we get. Okay, invalid value, line 28. So just go ahead and copy this. Literally just go back to ChatGPT and type this in. Posted date, fixed by validating the date before using it. Okay, so maybe this is because we have, so it's likely that this is coming because it's from a field called date posted. The date field is in a field called date posted. So this is helpful that it knows exactly what we have in the Airtable database that it's pulling from. And one thing we could actually do that's sometimes really helpful is if I just go into the JSON here, I can just say, this is the incoming JSON and just paste all this. So now it actually knows how our data is being structured coming out of Airtable so it can actually properly grab the right fields in order to do this calculation. Cool. So now if I copy this and I come back in here and click paste, we can go ahead, we can test this, and hopefully we get a result. Perfect. So we actually get a result. And if we come down here, just go into the schema view. We don't need the thumbnail, description, yada, yada, yada. Views, likes, comment, posted date, days since posted, 1.8, comment to view ratio, the view velocity, the outlier score, the total score. Super cool. And then I actually think the last thing we actually need is a rank, right? So we actually need something that ranks these relative to each other. This is great, and doing all the calculations. But I need a way to rank the videos in relation to each other and also output a rank depending on the total number of videos input. Something like that, right? So if we have 30 videos, it's going to assign, ranks 1 through 30. If we have 10 videos, it's going to be 1 through 10. Can we just append this to the end of your code? I don't know. It's probably easy to copy and paste. I think I could probably do it, but I'm always scared. So I can just say please give me all the code again. So this way I know that I'm just going to copy and paste one thing only, and bring it back over into n8n. Cool. Sort and rank. Okay, and now I can copy this. Let's paste this back in. Test this step. Come down to the bottom. Now we have rank 1, and assuming that we go through all of these, we'll have a bunch of different ranks for all of them. Super cool. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. And the last thing for us to do is to update the records inside of Airtable. One thing that I have found that I will let you know that is super annoying is that basically working with the number fields in this Airtable module, it always defaults to 0. And when it defaults to 0, it'll actually just overwrite whatever you have in Airtable unless you kind of link it back up again. So just wanted you to watch out for that. So just make sure you link all of your fields back up again. So that way you're not running into that issue. I'm going to come into the schema view here. So we're going to go ID to match. We're going to grab the username, the post title, which I actually don't think is matter because I actually don't think it's going to overwrite these. I actually think it's just going to overwrite the numbers. It's going to come into views, likes. Oh, we need to actually add these comments, these sections into into our Airtable database. So I'm going to do that in a second. So I'm just going to pipe these back over. Views, likes, comments, date posted, URL. We don't need these. But what we do need to do is we need to update the fields in Airtable. And so we can come down here. Let's go into the schema here. The things we need to update. We need to update. I don't need to actually update days since posted. Do I care that much? I'm not sure. We can do it if we want. We'll just do long text. Actually, we're going to do a number field. Days since posted. And we have comment to view ratio, view velocity, and outlier score. We'll duplicate this. Comment to view ratio. What did I say? I already forgot. View velocity and outlier score. Duplicate field. View velocity. Duplicate one more time. Outlier score. Duplicate this one more time. And I think from there, we have the total score, and then we have the rank. So why don't we just call this total score. One more time. We'll just call this rank. Great. So now if we come back in here, come into our Airtable, and we can go ahead and you can see we have new columns. So we can just go ahead and refresh these. This is great. And now you can see this is what I was talking about. It defaults to 0. And if you close out of this, it's actually going to put that 0 back in. And it's just going to overwrite the data, which is super annoying. But it is what it is. So, okay, we have days since posted. We have the comment to view ratio. We have the view velocity. We have the outlier score. We have the total score. And we have the rank. Great. And I don't think we need anything else. And so go ahead and click save. If we want, we could just run this step, but I'm just going to run it through one full time just because. Always good to test the system. Searching all the records, grabbing 14 of them, scoring all 14 of them, and then updating these inside of Airtable. And you can see that if we come in here, basically everything is coming in here. And we can see that some of these have zeros, and my guess is that these are lots of decimal places. So if we come in here, we can go to edit field and we can just change this. If we change this to 4, let's see. So now we actually have some data in here. Outlier score 3.1, total score, the rank, and we can change the rank to edit field. You can just go into no decimal places. We don't need that. Great. And so now these are all ranked. They're out of order. And what we can do is we can actually just sort these instead of by views now. We can actually sort these by rank. We can go 1 through 9. Now we can see we have our best performing videos up at the top and the worst performing videos down at the bottom. So this is a pretty cool way to calculate this. We just built a cool LinkedIn Parasite system. It didn't take us too long. I think this is really, really powerful and saves you from having to buy other expensive software to use this. You can run this once a day, once a week, however frequently that you want to kind of figure out what's going on with your competitors. And you can always come in and add new competitors to this Airtable. So if you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out this video up here where I show you how to build an entire hub for your social media to create all the content that you want completely on autopilot. I'll see you over there.